Okay. So it's like this. Shnei Shemot Hadin v'Achesed. Okay, so here he's talking about the names of Hashem. We have many names of Hashem. Actually, the more you get into Kabbalah, you have even more than that. The Kabbalah is full of all types of names, which is an interesting thing. If you have more than one name for somebody, that sort of shows you don't really know who they are. It's like, call you this and call you that. There's something about having a lot of descriptions, which shows, okay, you got to talk a lot, otherwise you're not going to be accurate. See, that's one of the differences between, idolatry and serving God. Because if I have a very specific, definite thing, which is my God, I'm feeling very comfortable about that. Got a God, I can put it in my pocket, take it to someplace else. This is what it is. It is what it is. Once we start talking in abstract terms, some sort of God up there, it becomes a lot more difficult to hold on to. What are we saying? What are we doing? So it's interesting. The Rambam selected the Rambam. One of the Rambam's big agendas, particularly in his book Moreh Nevuchim. Heard of Moreh Nevuchim? Guide to the Perplexed. Rambam wrote a book called Guide to the Perplexed, and one of the things he was trying to do there was trying to deal with philosophical issues that come up in Judaism. And the thing he was trying to bring out is that it's very important for people to understand that God is not physical. And I think today that's pretty obvious to people. But it could be back then it wasn't that obvious. People had all types of ideas. And he's saying, God is not physical. God is above the physical. He keeps on saying it over and over again. And he says, the main thing that we can say about him is what he is not. Meaning, he's not weak. He's not dead. He's not this. What he really is, that's already something beyond. Okay? But the truth is, we look in the Torah does have positive terms for God. Descriptions, God did this, God did that. But the fact that there's a multiplicity, there's a whole range of names, still keeps this element of like, yes, we're talking about Hashem, but we still remember that we don't really know what we're talking about. I think that's an important message in the fact that there are many names. So here's when he's talking about what's the significance of the two names of Shem Havaya and Elokim. Okay. LaKadosh Baruch Hu yesh Shem Havaya v'yesh Shem Elokim. Okay. What's your name? Yona. I see you. Yona. Okay, so what are the meanings of these names? Shem Elokim Moreh al Gvura v'Din. Shem Elokim has a connotation of strength and justice. Now, if you look in the Torah, the Torah used the word Elohim also for a judge, for a human judge, because you go to Elohim and you get judged over there. It's interesting, the Torah uses the same word for God and for other forms of justice. Okay, so from there we know that's what it means. In the Torah says in the beginning, Hashem created and uses the word Elokim. So here he's quoting from a Chazal. It's like this: that when God was creating the world, He originally thought to create the world with justice. What does it mean to create the world with justice? Meaning create a system where you get what you deserve. Every person gets what they deserve. You give free choice, and according to what you do, that's what you get. That was the original plan. And then God looked at the world and said, "There's no way that's going to work. The world will collapse very quickly. What everyone's getting is based on what they deserve. If they don't deserve it, they don't get it." So then, it says in the Chazal that he combined with this mercy. It's justice with mercy. So there is elements of justice, but it's a lot of mercy and compassion also. This is a funny thing to say about like there being an original plan and a change of plans. So what does that mean?
Adapting.
Adapting, yeah. Meaning, okay, so that doesn't work. Meaning, you couldn't figure out that won't work. So I just want to tell you over an explanation from the Sfat Emet, a very nice explanation. So he says it wasn't really he thought one way and he planned and he decided in another way. It just when God is creating the world, He's putting out a message in there. He's saying this is the message that really the best thing would be to create a world of justice. And at the same time, I know that's not realistic, but I still want to put in this ideal of really living a world of justice. Meaning, also I want to explain this a little further. What's this whole idea of justice in relation to a world? I mean, I understand justice if I steal, I got to pay back. What does it mean to create a world of justice? So this is also explained in many Hasidic works that part of what's going on in having a world is that human beings get a feeling or a perception that we are independent. That we are who we are. We do what we want, and we're independent. We decide what we do, and also we feel like we own the world. There's something positive about that. Meaning, why? Because if, let's say, how would it feel to be in the world and we're overwhelmed by the feeling that God created us. And every second we just see like the energy coming into ourselves and giving us life. It would probably be very cool, but the problem would be that we have no self. I don't exist really. I'm just like being beamed into this world. So it would be very good as far as our knowledge of God, but it wouldn't be very good as far as relationship, because a relationship always needs two distinct selves. Okay, it's like this with people also. If I am the same person as my wife is, and like always think the same thing, or like we know what each other think, it's not a relationship. It's like we're one person. Nothing going on. There won't be any feeling there. There won't be any give and take. A relationship is no, distinct. Some things I like and you hate, and some things you like and I hate, and I feel, and sometimes I feel very strongly I'm a separate person. You're a separate person, and with that, we go ahead and we relate to each other, and we form some sort of open over there. They're sitting in the kitchen, and so it's actually the separation and distance which creates the setting for us to relate and to love each other and to whatever we do with each other. So it's the same thing with human beings and God. Meaning, if we felt that we're just creations, that's all we are. We're just being created all the time. Then that's where it stops. There's nothing for us to do. And in a certain way, everything becomes pointless. Okay, so what am I here for? But now that there's this sense of separation, okay, now we can say, can talk to God. Here, you're there, I'm here. Let's talk to each other. Now, this idea of justice is very important for that, because if this idea that I do good things in the world and I get as a result, so that creates my independence. Meaning, I'm not just getting; I'm getting based on what I did, so that I exist. Right? That's the strongest proof that I exist, because what I get is dependent on my personal choices. One of the terms for this is that a person who's getting a free gift doesn't like looking in the face who the person is giving it. right? You get a handout. You say, okay, oh, thank you very much. Have a good day. You don't feel comfortable with that person. The same thing, if we feel we earned something, so we feel comfortable. Say, oh, yeah, I got this. I feel comfortable in looking at God and saying, thank you for giving this to me. I feel very appreciative because I don't have that embarrassment of like, oh, I'm getting something for free.
But does one look at a gift like that, and I'm getting something free?
That's like charity. So, okay, hey, you're getting a handout. Meaning, and even not a charity. Let's say a person's a guest. Person's a guest at someone's home, and if they don't have anything to give back, eventually it starts being uncomfortable, right? Because you're just taking from this person. It's not, that person's above you and just giving you all the time, but you start feeling smaller and smaller because I don't have anything to contribute. My daughter, she's 5. Like sometimes I see when I'm pouring her a drink, so she does that. She does like that. She like doesn't look at me when I'm pouring because she doesn't like that. She's looking at me like.
Maybe she doesn't like to drink.
No, she's asking me to please pour me some juice. Anyways, okay. I hope when she grows up she doesn't find this recording. I made fun of her.
Well, we're talking here about stuff that the receiver doesn't look the giver.
Yeah. That's what we're starting off from. We're saying is there is just such a tendency that we don't feel comfortable receiving without being able to give anything. Well, the reason I'm bringing that up is because that explains the whole idea of why God wants there to be a system of justice in the world. Justice meaning you get according to what you did, meaning your choices affect you, and it's not just everything's being given for free, meaning the fact that not everything's given for free in the long run is very much for our benefit, because just like when we get something from a person, we feel uncomfortable if we weren't able to contribute. Same thing when we receive something from God also. Eventually, we feel uncomfortable when we're not able to give and to do anything. We're not able to make any choices. So, you hear what I'm saying? This is an explanation for what he's bringing down over here. That there's this, in the beginning of creation, there was this element of justice. That there needs to be justice in the world, not justice in the meaning that if someone hurt somebody else to get punished. More justice in the sense that we feel we deserve what we get. We feel we have the power to make choices, and therefore we get something as a result. You're getting this? You know what I'm saying?
You're talking about not doing any mitzvahs. Are we?
What I'm saying is, why is it necessary for us to have to do things in order to get? Why can't we just get everything for free? That's the idea that I'm focusing on. So, which explains this saying of Chazal. At the beginning, God wanted to make the world based on justice. This is the reason why He wanted the world made based on justice, is for us to feel independent, us to feel comfortable with ourselves in relation to God. And then the continuation is, but you can't go all the way. You can't have a world that's only that way, because that's not the way the world works. People make mistakes, and that's life. So there's an element of compassion, but it's a mix.
It's all mixed in that bad things happen to good people.
100%. That's a whole other thing. That the justice is not always evident at all, and sometimes doesn't seem just at all. Yeah, that's a whole other thing.
If one is shomrei mitzvahs, as much of the mitzvahs that one wants to do, would it be said that we are accepting the berachos from God without us giving it? I mean, what can we give God anyway?
That means meaning we're doing the right things, what we give, by making good choices.
Right.
Right? Then you're giving something.
And then we can accept whatever.
Whatever good comes, we can accept it. It's sort of an answer to because you were bringing up, meaning clearly we don't see it working that way. The world that we see doesn't work The good people get good and the bad people get bad. Unfortunately, it doesn't always work that way. But in a more subjective way, not so much in like, okay, figuring out how the world works, in a more subjective way. When I receive good, and I see it as coming from God, I can feel more comfortable about it when I say to myself, I really appreciate getting this, and also I really appreciate me having a role here. That's really what makes it able to say that. Meaning, if I have no role, it's much harder for me to appreciate all the good things in my life. Because thank you for giving me a car and a house and a family, but what am I supposed to do with this? The second you're able to do something with it, it makes everything so much more pleasant and you're able to accept it.
I think it's like a process. It's not just good people get good things, but if you do some kindness for somebody, you're more likely to accept kindnesses from others because you feel like you're deserving of that kindness. So your life will be enriched.
I hear that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's like a process of a few
Yeah.
steps along the way. Like it changes your mentality
Yeah.
about receiving.
100%. Yeah. I hear that. I mean, you see that in people. Some people have a stingy personality, and like they don't like people enjoying themselves. They don't like when they themselves enjoy themselves, and they don't like when other people. It's sort of like. And what you're describing is the opposite. Describing, yes, I enjoy giving to you, and therefore, when I get something, I'm happy about it too. It's a much more expansive way of feeling things.
How does one instill? I hear what you're saying, and I agree with you. How does one instill this? You gotta give something back in children. I mean, I'm beyond the children's day, but my own children have reached an age in which they're asking me, not what should I do. I mean, no child asks that, but they mention a child. The child does this or whatever it is. How would you handle it? I was a single parent, so I was the only one. Because children accept. It's coming to them.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. That's sort of the process of growing up is that in a lot of ways. Meaning, all of a sudden, a teenager starts distancing themselves from their parents. A lot of times, it's because of that. It's saying, I don't want to be the person who's just getting from you and doesn't have any say and doesn't have any self. So they start fighting, and their parents are. Often they even make up a reason to fight with their parents. Like, just in order to have a reason to fight.
That's why I wish I would have known that. Okay. Right.
Yeah, okay, anyways, that's the whole thing in itself. Okay, let's read a little bit more. הרי חייבים שיהיה סדר ביקום. יום זה יום, לילה זה לילה, חורף זה חורף. You need to have some sort of order in existence, in reality. Day is day, night is night, winter is winter. אם זמן הדלקת נרות שבת הוא בשעה 4:20 דקות, אתה לא יכול לשנות את זה. If the candle lighting time is at 4:20, so you can't change that. אתה לא יכול לומר, אני רוצה לנוח עכשיו, אדליק נרות אחר כך, כך אוכל לקבל שבת טוב יותר. You can't say, oh, I want to rest now, I'll wait till later to light candles. No, אתה לא יכול לשנות את זמן השבת. אתה לא יכול לומר, אני חי על פי שם הוויה, אני אין סוף. כי אתה לא אין סוף, רק השם הוא אין סוף, העולם הוא לא אין סוף. Okay, so now he's giving a little more of explanation about these two names. The name of the Shem Havaya, which is more of a name which expresses this endless compassion, and the Shem Elohim, which is more like justice, something more defined. And he's saying, that the world by definition is not infinite. The world that we live in is not godly, and therefore, that's what the Shem Elohim says. That there's a certain part of you which needs to make peace with the limitations of reality and serve God through that. His example is candle lighting time is a certain time. That's the time it is. It's not the place to express your infinity, because that's the world we live in. That's a certain expression of God also. There's the Kabbalists get into this really in philosophical ways, meaning like it's like this. Yes. Okay. So God created the world. So it's fun. That's what it's saying. Basically, one of the Kabbalim says before God created the world, there was the potential of finitude in this infinity, meaning to say that we think God is infinite, is all powerful, but part of us being all powerful is the ability to make something which is limited. So it's also meaning that this limited world with all its shapes and sizes and limitations is also expression of the Ein Sof, which is a particular expression of it, and that's the expression which we express when we're dealing with the details of life, dealing with the limitations of life. In general, reality is a holy thing, and if this is what we're expressing in reality, so that's holy. Now, mitzad sheni, but on the other hand, anashim sheyesh lam rak din v'seder, הם עלולים להיות מכוערים, הם עלולים להיות רוצחים. Because on the other hand, people that all they have is judgment and order. They can be very ugly. They can be murderers. Meaning if that's the only thing you have in life is the order of things, the way things are built. What's the time for breakfast, what's the time for lunch. That's all there is for reality, and that makes people ugly.
What is the word al-loli?
Al-loli means they have a tendency to become. They have a likelihood. They are likely to become ugly. הם יכולים לומר, אתה עשית כך וכך, צריכים לשים אותך בכלא. So you did this, so you got to go to jail. אם הוא עשה כך וכך, צריכים להרוג אותו. This guy did this, you got to kill him. אין להם רחמנות, they don't have compassion. Right? Compassion means that you understand something beyond the rules. The rules are important, but that's not everything. To explain this more, according to the Kabbalah, it says that Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. Okay, so each one has a certain midah, a certain trait which is connected to himself. Avraham is chesed, is kindness, and Yitzchak is judgment, so constriction. According to some explanations, Yaakov is rachmanut. Yaakov is compassion. Now, what's the difference between kindness and compassion?
Isn't there an expression you can kill somebody with love and stuff? So, I guess in all things, one needs compassion. Even in kindness, but there's such a thing as being overcome.
Yeah. Oh, that's very good. I'm going to go something in that direction. I mean, like this: if I have a tendency to be kind, or a tendency to be strict, and I follow that tendency, so all I'm doing is following the natural way I like being. Okay. But compassion is something much more focused. Compassion is compassion on somebody. Okay, meaning you're seeing somebody, you're saying, okay, what's your situation? What do you need? Oh, you need money. Oh, I'll give you some money. Meaning, right? It's not, who can I give this money to? Oh, you're a good candidate. Right? Rachamim, compassion, is a lot more focused on the recipient. That's just the interesting thing. The situation, right? it's more, it's so that's Rachmanut, meaning what we were saying before is if he was talking more in comparison to din, meaning if all you say is, okay, these are the rules, you don't have compassion, so you can kill people because you don't see who this person is, what's the situation, what they need.
That's what the term compassion means. Compassion is directed to others, not to oneself necessarily.
Yeah, it's more in this context. We're saying it's more focused, right? More focused on the other, more focused on the person who needs. That's
Empathy
yeah,
and kindness also in it's more of like an act that you do, and compassion is a feeling. But
Yeah.
sometimes the compassion has to come before the act of kindness.
yeah.
I guess in order to recognize what to do that would be kind to that person.
Yeah. Yeah, in general, a lot of people have this thing of being too nice, and it's not necessarily a compassion. It's just I feel uncomfortable being looked at by other people as not nice, so I keep on doing things, you know. But it's not compassion. It's just me protecting my own image.
Egocentric.
Yeah, it's like you know, it's a problem. Now, if I'm compassionate, I see, okay, here's this person who's trying to take advantage of me. What's the right response to that? The response is to put your foot down and say no. You know, that's actually very consistent with compassion because it's not this thing. Oh, I have to be nice to everybody. No, it's have to look at people before I'm nice to them. I have to look at what's going on and say, oh, you're trying to manipulate me. Okay, it's not going to happen. You know, that's perfect. You know, it's a lot better than just like trying to be nice. You know?
Compassion isn't always passive. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
You know, you just explained something which I never thought of until now. When you're visiting a house of Avelis, especially the
Nothing. Yeah.
And using what we just said here, not everybody needs an overwhelming, oh, how terrible it was. They need a little bit. So using yours, so Rachamim is giving a person compassion as much as they need.
Yeah.
Not more and not less. I guess only God can do that.
Yeah.
Well, they can all
Oh, so you're good. Okay. Yeah, it's like this. He says, סוד החיים הוא שמצד אחד צריך שיהיה סדר מוחלט, ומצד שני אין סוף צריך את שניהם. He says, life is some sort of paradox, which on one hand you need to have complete order. Things are the way they are. On the other hand, there's this element of Ein Sof, an element of infinity, and I think part of what he's trying to say over here is, if I look at the world as just according to a certain set of rules, so whenever I meet somebody, I try to fit them into, okay, who are you? What type of category are you in? And it's very simple what the response should be. But if I have a sense of Ein Sof, so Ein Sof is like, wow, like, you know, this is endless. This has no shape. This is I don't know what this is. If you have a feeling like that inside also, so when you meet somebody, in addition to trying to figure out, okay, who are you? Are you a man? Are you a woman? Are you a friend? Are you an enemy? What is this? But besides all that, you know, it's just, okay, there's something here. There's something infinite here. What is this? What you know? Who are you? And that, you know, at the same, you try to work the same thing, both of these things at the same time. You know, like it's. I mean, I know for myself, it's the most annoying thing to meet someone new, who you know, before you start talking, they already think they know who you are, you know, and they already, oh, you're that, or you're his son, or you're her, you know, her brother. Okay, I got you, you know, like you know, and then now you're giving room for, like, maybe I'm something else also, you know. It's, you're looking for this sense of, not, you're just like the infinity in Hashem, there's the infinity in people. something you didn't know about. Okay. בעיקר בחינוך ילדים צריך שיהיה שם מלא. Havaya Elokim. Says, now he gets to children. Okay, Michal, you brought the children up before, so he's getting back to this. He says, there's two, in the Torah, sometimes both names are used together. מצד אחד, צריך ללמד אותם שיום זה יום ולילה. You need to tell them that day is day and night is night. Yeah, meaning that there is some sort of structure to the world and to things. You go to sleep at night. I don't know, I'm still working on that one. I haven't got my kids to actually know that night is night, but ומצד שני, אם רק מלמדים אותם את זה, פוגמים במשמעתם. This says, on the other hand, if that's all you teach your kids is about what the rules are, what's the right thing to do at the right time, or which fork do you use for which food. So then pogmim b'nishmatam, your pogmim b'nishmatam is a Hasidic terminology, meaning you're hurting their soul. Meaning, if that's all you give them, you're hurting their soul because they have to learn how to feel that there's something expansive inside of them, not just a person who knows everything, when to do the right thing or what to do. כי פוגמים בשם ההוויה שולחים בם. בשם האין סופי של הקדוש ברוך הוא מברכים ללמד אותם את שניהם. You gotta teach them both. Yeah. I think, and with regard to teaching children, I think the issue he's bringing up also has to do a lot with, do you trust your kids to be able to make good decisions? If I don't trust my kids at all, then I have to explain to them everything. This is right, this is wrong, this is right, this is wrong. All different types of situations, because everything should be very clear. But if I have a sense of trust, meaning I'll teach them some things, but eventually I trust that they'll develop their own sense from the inside. So that's I don't have to be so controlling, like being on top of them, because it's something coming from the inside.
How would you translate that? מצד שני, אם רק מלמדים אותם זה פוגמים בזה. That if you teach them only that they are hurting their...
No, אם רק מלמדים אותם את זה, if all you teach them is that day is day, night is night, all you teach them is about rules and definitions, but that's hurting their souls.
Okay, and next, כי פוגמים בשם הוויה, because
you're hurting the divine name which is in them.
Could you elaborate on that? That one's quite tough.
He's saying that we, human beings, also, just like there's two names of God, a name which expresses a more limitless, infinite aspect, and there's a name that expresses the expression of order and differentiation. So too, inside of us, each person has both of these things. We have a part of us which needs order and connects to order. We have a part of us which is limitless, and it's not just about trying to say, am I doing the right thing for the right situation? It's more something a lot greater, a lot more creative.
If you only teach children one aspect,
Right, it's not whole.
So that's hurting, because the divinity within a person has a compassion element as well.
Yeah.
But you only teach them din, as it were.
Yeah.
So it hurts.
Okay, I think I've spoken. I want to hear what do you have to say. What are your responses to this?
Well, just the last part, I was just thinking that Hashem, well, just the way that we're the children of God, in a similar way, He gave us these rules and
Yeah.
Torah, but He's also giving us this freedom and choice, and it's a more or less a direct image, but our parents towards their children is a reflection of also God towards His children.
Right. Meaning, it's not only kids are this big; it's kids are that big also.
I guess we're always children in a certain sense, but and which is a comfort too, because I think we can always learn.
And I think I agree with you. I mean, I think it's part of our process of learning Torah is that we have to know when do we have to say to ourselves, okay, I know the rules for a lot of situations, but in this situation, it's not based on any particular mitzvah or any particular rule, but my soul is telling me I have to go this way, and to trust that too sometimes. Yeah, I think that's it's like when the Hasidic movement back 200-300 years ago, when some of the Hasidic rabbis would daven very late. It was after the time we're supposed to daven, and the Snagdim would say, "Listen, this is wrong. It's against the rules." And they would say, like, "You're right. It's not the right time, but I have to pray. I have to really daven, and I'm not. It takes me a long time to get ready till I'm actually ready to daven. It's late. That's an example of that. Admitting that yes, it would be preferable to be exactly right, but the bottom line, talking to God is supposed to be real, it's supposed to be expressive, it's supposed to be emotional, and I'm working on that. And okay, so I'm a little bit late, but at least I have that. I think that expressed that tendency. And the same people who were davening late were super careful about everything else. It wasn't like there were people who were saying, "Oh, rules are not important." No, before they ate something, they made sure it's super duper kosher and all that. But certain situations, they said, "Okay, my neshama says this is what needs to be done." And every person got to figure it out for himself. So that's yeah. What do you say? Okay. Okay, let's read a little bit more. It says this, אהבה במצרים. It says, אם מישהו חולה, יש אנשים שמתלחשים שכנראה מגיע לו. If someone's sick, there are people who are whispering, say, it must be coming to him. He must deserve it. יש אנשים שנותנים הסברים מדוע היו 6 המיליונים שצריכים להרג בשואה הנוראה. So some people say they have explanations why 6 million people need to be killed in the Holocaust. מי שנותן את ההסברים האלו הוא עצמו רוצח. Someone who gives these explanations is a little bit of a murderer themselves. אולי הוא לא רוצח אנשים, אבל יש לו רציחה בלב. Maybe you don't actually murder people, but you have a little bit of killing in your heart. If you're connected to rules so much that you can say, okay, you gotta go, these people have to die, without any feeling then he's giving this as an example of someone who this constricted way of looking at things became too powerful. He starts making all these statements. You deserve this and you deserve that. That's the classic example of too much. Yes, there's right and wrong, but when you start blaming people for the misfortunes that they have, that's already not the way it's supposed to be. לפעמים אדם משתדך עם אישה ואוהב אותה באהבה מוגבלת. Sometimes a man gets engaged to a woman, but he loves her like a little bit. הוא רוצה לדעת כמה כסף יש למשפחה שלה, כמה תארים יש לה. זה לא אהבה אינסופית. He says he wants to know, how much money does her family have, how many degrees does she have. He says that's not a infinite love. זאת לא האהבה שלפני בריאת העולם. That's not the love that came before the creation of the world. הרי לפני הבריאה לא היה כלום, חוץ מלבד אהבתו האינסופית של השם. לא היה שום דבר חוץ מאינסוף. Meaning, think about the world before the world was created. There was no judgment there. There was just infinite love. And so that exists too. The world before the creation, the world before God decided to make this world of give and take and justice. There's something that came before that. There's something which is infinite. And that exists too. So we got to keep in touch with that also. You can't heal a person with love that comes after creation. I mean, this love which is very mixed in with judgment. When someone's in pain, it's not the time to educate them. Tell me you're not, you're not okay. It's the classic "I told you so," right? Someone's in pain, you say "I told you so." That's the opposite of compassion. And particularly not to talk that way to kids, as he's saying. There was one Rebbe who many people used to come visit to ask him for advice. His name is Pinchas of Karetz. He was a student of the Baal Shem Tov, and very often when people used to come visit him and ask him, and it came like, "Oh, help me out, tell me what to do." So he would always tell them these jokes, and say witty things, and that's it. And he would send them off. So they asked him come on, these people traveled 2 days to come talk to you, get advice, and why are you just making jokes and sending them away? So he says that most people have advice for themselves inside someplace. And the problem is that they're depressed. The problem is that their problems are weighing so heavy that they can't even think. It's oh man, everything stinks. So I see as my job just to make you a little bit lighter, lighten up a little bit. Don't carry such a heavy load. And then I'm sure the advice that they have inside will hit. They'll figure it out. And so just mentioning this, similar to what he's saying is that when people are hurting, that's not the time to be all heavy with them. They're hurting. The first step is try to lighten the load.
You have to listen to them.
Yes, sometimes it's listen.
People need to be listened to.
Yeah. But there's an exception too. Sometimes people are full of self-pity, to the extreme. That sometimes listening to them makes things worse. It depends how you do it. So, oh, that's so terrible. Whoa, you have to know how to do it. Sometimes you listen to them. Sometimes you say, okay, let's go ice skating or whatever. Anyway, okay.
You are 100% right. I remember when I was going to counseling school that we were told, well, the client walks through the door, they know the solution to the problem. Then it's up to a therapist to bring the client to that realization. We emphasize you do not heal a client by your perception. So you're right.
All right.
People need to do this.
So you listen to me. You just gave me therapy.
What is
she?
your credit card number, please?
Yeah.
No, a lot of what I learned